Let me start by explaining how I came up with the original set to begin with, what I like and don't like about it, what the new vision is, and then at the end I'm going to show you each element of the new set and you'll see the final product at the end. This, by the way, is not anyway related to what we're going to end up with. This is just another corner of the room for me to film because that new set is like half broken down and not really somewhere I want to film right this second. This is really the only YouTube channel I've started with the idea of I want to monetize this one as quickly as possible. Whirlwind of technical difficulties have set me way back on that in terms of sticking with an upload schedule. That's a whole other story. But when it came to my background, I wanted it to be clear that it wasn't my first day doing YouTube, and I wanted to show that I put genuine thought into my background. I also wanted it to be clear that it was my taste as far as what I came up with. And honestly, I actually really like this set. I'm actually somewhat torn about taking it down after I've invested time and energy into thinking about the new set, but I just do think that it's the best. The tapestry looks amazing. I think my favorite part is actually the table. I love the fact that image from the tapestry is reflective on the table. I love the fact that I'm a bit reflective on the table. I love the color of the table. I love the tapestry itself. If I was keeping the same set and just trying to tweak it a little bit, the only thing I would change is the lights. I like the way I have the lights. I like the fact that they're in the shape of little rocks as opposed to a more typical shape, but they're a little bit yellow. I would change that string of lights to something that was either bright white or something really colorful. Now here's the actual problem with continuing to use this same set. The main thing is it looks like it was created by a YouTuber. It just does. And for the most part, something looking like it was done by a YouTuber when you have a YouTube channel is not that big of a deal. YouTubers are gonna YouTuber. But here's the thing. This channel is about personal finance, and it's not like general advice on personal finance. It's about my journey specifically with personal finance. So the problem is this set looks very cold. This looks like it was set up by someone who's trying to turn this into a podcast or a business venture, or is trying to attract clients for a business they already have. It does not say I'm an authentic person who's just here to talk about my own personal financial journey. And that's the heart of my channel. So I do feel that my background and my YouTube set, quote unquote, should reflect what I'm trying to do with my YouTube channel. I think there's nothing wrong with going with your own instincts and applying your own personal taste to whatever you come up with, but I do think you should be clear about what image you want your YouTube channel to have. Now, before I go any further, when it comes to the elements for the new set, I just want to say I did give myself like a $60 budget when I probably shouldn't have. At this point, I will not spend another dime on YouTube unless I start making some money from it. It just doesn't make sense otherwise. I don't really regret the shopping trip though, because I think it's all going to work out. But always remember to check what's around you, what you already have in your environment that you can pull together. If you are struggling to figure out how you want things to look, what type of set you want to create, just get really creative with your environment. So for example, for this clip right here, I've never filmed over here before. I didn't really know how I wanted this set up. And I was about to give up and just film it with my hand, holding it out like this. It would look shaky as hell. I didn't really want to do that. And I thought, wait a minute, I have a cat tree. And lo and behold, I moved it over, I got it set up, and it's actually just the right angle that I was looking for. A cat tree. Lo and behold, the cat tree worked. You are actually sitting on my cat tree right now. So sometimes the simplest things that you wouldn't think you could utilize for anything YouTube could be something that's a valuable resource to you. But getting back to my new YouTube set. So I wanted to go from I look like a wannabe podcaster type of set to I want to create a space in my home that looks like a space in my home and film there for YouTube. I hate to give spoilers, but I did not anticipate my set design to end up being this pretty and pink design, because the last set design I came up with that I'm proud of for another channel is very much a pretty and pink vibe. Now, this is for my YouTube channel, Rants and Headaches. It is very opinionated. I do not hold back. So if that's not something that you want to hear, maybe you don't want to check out the channel. But this is the set that I have going on. It is baby pink and baby blue in the background. I put a lot of thought into this design. I love having the map on the one side and the picture in the other. I love having those feathers with the wine glasses, with the pink mesh, with the lights in the background. I just think the pieces that I selected and the way I put them together really just brought this scene together. I also tried to position myself in a way that there was space next to me that I could put images and graphics. Now, a lot of this is personal taste though, so I knew I wanted something a bit feminine. This set ended up being a little bit overboard, a little bit girlier than what I really initially envisioned. But I had a couple of ideas, and I went to the store and I had an open mind, and I looked at several different pieces that could have taken the set design in a few different directions, and this is what I ended up with. I put thought into the placement of all of these items in my background. I even put thought into where I position myself. I tend to find it a little bit jarring when people throw graphics that take up the whole screen in the middle of a video, so I try to avoid doing that because of how I like to consume content. Or especially if people throw up an image and then move themselves suddenly to a corner or to the side of the screen. I don't like that. I do not like it when YouTubers do that. So that impacts how I edit my videos and how I create my content. So that informed how I wanted to set up my YouTube set. But this set also looks a little bit too YouTuber than what I'm going for I want to save money. So as I film this, I do not have the set completely worked out, but basically I want this to look like a space that would look like a natural part of someone's home. Whereas right now with what I have, if you walk into my living room, which is disorganized and all over the place anyways, then you turn to that side of the wall and it's like, oh, that must be like your YouTube space. Like, it's just, it's so obvious what I was going for. It's so obviously meant to be YouTube. And it's like, yes, I'm not shy about being a YouTuber, but I want a set that's about something as personal as my money to feel like it's a natural part of my home. So now let me walk you through every element I have for this new set, and then I will put everything together and show you the final product. So I am now in my final product. This is going to be my YouTube set going forward for my channel. I want to save money. So let me just walk you through the decisions I made for this set. One thing I do want to add before I go any further is that this is likely not the angle that I will be filming at. I will probably be filming just off to the side a little bit more. You'll probably be seeing me at more of this angle right here. There's a couple reasons I want to do it that way. One of the main ones is to keep as much reflection as possible off of this framed picture. Speaking of this framed picture, let's go ahead and start with that. So I wanted to pull together some items that would look pleasant enough to be part of a YouTube set, but would still look like something that I might put in my living room. So these are all items that I'm very happy to have as part of my living room. Now, I did have a few pictures in the house that I thought might work for this set, and I wanted to work my way backwards and make that my focal point. The reason I went with this playing card is because I actually collect playing cards, and sometime within the next couple of months, I would like to have an actual display case in my living room that has at least a portion of that collection, because at this point, it's pretty big. So not only does it go hand in hand with the pretty and pink vibe I've got going on, the pink bows, it also ties into something else that I'm already going to have in my house. So as soon as I saw this picture and just fell in love with it, I knew I wanted to make that the focal point of what I came up with. Next up was this light up pink bow. All of these items came from the same place, except for the shelf, by the way. I knew I wanted some type of lighting in the background. Now, personally, I prefer something that kind of reflects on the wall a little bit. For example, this set used to be string lights over a tapestry. On my other set for rants and headaches, I have glass wine bottles with some pink mesh in it, and I just reflect lights onto that, and you see this nice, pretty image in the back corner of the wall. So if there is anything that in the future I might change about this set, it might be this. I think it's a great choice for the set. It's really pretty. It goes along with my theme. But if there is any part of the set that I change going forward, it would probably be the lighting, just because I want something that's a little bit more reflective on other areas of the background. Next up, we have this little green plant over here in this pink pot. It was in the same area of the store as all these other items I've already mentioned. I wasn't really sure I wanted any greenery in the background, but it just went so well with the items I already had. I really felt like it worked. Then we have this framed picture that says, "Find the good in every day." So I did not necessarily want anything in the background that had wording on it, because sometimes people are trying to read that and they find it distracting. So I was kind of iffy about any wording in the actual frame itself, but I just felt like that was such a positive message. So that one really is more for me. That's something that I've added to the set, and I think it looks good, but this is still my living room, and I really wanted it to be something that still worked for my living space, and that's just a message that I really like having out there. Next up are these shelves. So I made a YouTube short explaining that I was trying to find a table for my new set, and in the end, I went with this. So in my previous frame, I had that long table that went across the frame and just reflected the tapestry, and I absolutely loved it. So I wanted something in front of me, because I do tend to, when I have notes, prefer something to actually have those notes sitting on. On this set, I'm just going to have them on the couch next to me in case I need to grab them. But that was kind of my thinking, and I felt like, okay, I just want a table that's a little bit smaller and can still be in the frame and kind of works. And I realized that I can't really use like coffee table level tables because then the frame is way too low and this is not fully in frame and maybe that's going to make this out of whack a little bit. So it just became this thing. Then it was like, well, if I get a higher table, well, it's going to look awkward if I'm just trying to place these other items around it. And I just really realized I couldn't find a way to pull it together with any type of typical table in the frame. But obviously I wanted these items to be part of the set, so this shelf works absolutely perfectly. It's just the right color. So I was not looking for a shelf like this by any means for my set, but I think if you're trying to be creative and come up with something, you should be open-minded to different options. And now after all is said and done, I'm really happy with what I came up with, even though I insisted that some type of table being the focal point had to be a part of this, and it went a completely different direction. Love this as my focal point on the wall. Love these shelves. Love the items I bought for the shelves. This linen love seat was already part of my apartment, so I'm not considering it a purchase for this YouTube set. That being said, I do like to lean back a little bit, and I kind of feel like this is just comfy enough that if I'm filming videos back to back, it's going to make me a little bit too relaxed. The energy level might not quite be there, or maybe I won't be able to focus as much. So I may change up the seating arrangement that I have here, but beyond that, this is my new YouTube set. Going forward for my YouTube channel, I want to save money. I did put some thought into this, but it's still something that's pretty and simple. This is also the first video in a series of videos I'll be doing about YouTube specifically, my advice, my experiences, my do's and don'ts. It's not going to take over the channel. It's probably going to be a series of about 18 to 20 videos, and all of those videos will be put into a playlist on my channel if you want to check that out and keep up with those videos. But beyond that, let's get back to budgeting and purchase planning.